How have you been doing?
I'm good. Been a while since Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
I think you've had
like
some...
7 years.
Something
6
like...
years?
You've had some success since that film. You managed to land on your feet. All kidding aside. But this is an interesting time for you because you're like Jessica Chastain before some of her movies. Like, she did like 6 movies and then they all came out at once.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're riding that wave where you've done all these movies and now they're all about to pop.
I mean, actually, I try not to work that much in a year because I don't want to have too many movies coming out, and but sometimes I don't really get that right. Like 1 year I'll do 3 movies, and then I won't work for like 1 year I did 4 movies in a row, and then I didn't work for an entire year. And then the following year I did 2 movies, and this year I did 3 movies. So yeah, I will have kind of a lot coming out. Just kind of frightening, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, get ready to start talking.
Yeah. Get those muscles warmed up.
Right, exactly. I will be the softball, but get ready for... Because I don't ask about, like, family bullshit or, like, who are you dating. I don't care. But get ready for all that with other people. I am curious...
I have my death stare practiced.
Good luck.
I'll just give that as an answer.
I really don't understand... well, I don't want to talk about it. I was going to say I don't understand that line of questioning, but then again, for certain demographics, I guess that's important.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about the Peter Pan story that has resonated for so many generations? Why? What does it mean to so many people?
I mean, I just think that so many people can relate to. I mean, everyone plays make-believe when they're little, and everyone has a very vivid imagination, and then as you get older, for a lot of people that sort of wanes off. Lucky for me in my job, I don't have to do that. Like, I get to keep using my imagination, and I get to play make-believe for a living. But there's this idea of growing up and sort of that struggle. People struggle with growing. Some people struggle with growing up, not wanting to grow up, or losing sort of these qualities that you have as a child that you're not really supposed to have as an adult. And then also just the idea of Neverland and Lost Boys, and sort of having this place where there's no adults and you get to do whatever you want, and it's fun and scary and exciting, and it's anything you can imagine is there. There's like these hot mermaids swimming around who like save your life, and I just think it just brings people back to sort of their inner child.
What does it feel like for you right now, having won essentially like the actor's lottery, being able to work with so many gifted filmmakers and being able to be in such cool projects?
Yeah.
What is it like being in that sort of realm?
I don't know. I don't know that I really think of it like that. I mean, I feel so lucky, and I have been so lucky. I've had so much opportunity, and filmmakers are everything to me. I mean, that's why I really do what I do, is because of filmmakers. I worship filmmakers. And so the fact that I get to work with filmmakers that I love and admire is just, yeah, it's the best part of my job, really. So I feel really lucky for that.
We'll talk a little bit about working specifically for Joe Wright, because I'm obviously a huge Fincher fan. I mean, I revere that guy. And he's a very unique filmmaker with the way he likes to work, with the amount of takes he likes to do. He's a singular vision.
Yeah.
What is it like bouncing from him to like a Joe Wright and some of the other people like a Terrence Malick? Is there something that they all share, or is it...
Yeah, they all definitely share something, but I mean, talk about having a singular vision. There's no one more singular than Terrence Malick. I mean, no one makes movies the way that he makes movies. He's the most original, eccentric, unique person I've ever met. But I feel like since I, as you said, sort of won the lottery, every filmmaker that I've gotten to work with sort of has a singular vision. They've all been so extremely different in the way that they like to work, whether it's Steven Soderbergh, who is, an extraordinary, like no one makes movies the way he does. He does everything on set, and then you wrap at whatever time, and he goes home and edits the movie. I mean, there's no one else who does that. And I went from working with Fincher...
I was going to say, I think Guillermo del Toro does that.
Right. Well, I haven't worked with him, but, I went from working with David to Steven, and they couldn't be more different. Except that they both share, well, all the directors I've been lucky enough to work with, they do have such a strong point of view and a strong vision, and they're sort of uncompromising in it. They're not making the film for a studio or for someone else. They really are making their version of what they want to make, and they're uncompromising in that, which is my favorite kind of director to work with.
How is your process?
And the same with Joe. I mean, between like Spike and then working with Todd Haynes, and Joe is also incredibly eccentric and unique, and I'd never worked with anyone like him before. Being on his set was wildly different than any other set I had been on.
How has your process changed as an actor, having worked with all these filmmakers, and also just having more on your resume, having done more work?
I think you hopefully you get better and you learn something on every job that you're on. I try not to, I don't have a process, and I hate talking about process. I think it's so gross and boring, especially for an actor. But for me, it's because the filmmakers that I work with all have such a different process. If I came in and had this very strict process of how I wanted to work, that doesn't really help their process. I want to make myself as available as possible to serve the story they're telling. So I try and make myself as open and available to just go into whatever process that they like to use. I do all of my research and work or whatever have you before I even get there, but then whenever I'm on set, I really try and just give myself over to their process.
One of my biggest disappointments of this year is hearing that Utopia is not happening at HBO with David Fincher.
Yeah.
It killed me. What can you tell people about, because I know you were involved with it, what can you tell people about in terms of how far along were you? Well, you know what I mean?
I don't know what I'm supposed to say and not say, but I had been talking about it with David for over a year, and they're pretty far along. We had already sort of rehearsed a little bit, and it really sucks. They had it was going to be amazing. It was going to be amazing.
I'm devastated. For me, and I'm just going to speak as a fan for a second, and when you have a David Fincher who wants to do a project for you, and this cast and the idea, it kills me that it couldn't come to fruition. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah. If I wasn't an actress and I didn't have to be super political, and I would say more. Yeah, yes, I agree with you. But everything happens for a reason, and it wasn't meant to be. So he's going to do something else great, and they're going to do something else great, and everyone will be fine at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's going to land on his feet.
Yeah.
He's going to be okay. You were doing a voice for, and I'm going to butcher the name, Laka. How do you pronounce it?
Yes. Oh my god.
Don't say it, so that we don't get in trouble. I can never pronounce I'm very bad with names. English is my second language.
What's your first language?
English, but it's sometimes my second. But I am curious. I'm a huge fan of theirs.
They make the best. Coraline.
Listen, they're amazing.
I think it is no, that's the camera. I don't know.
Laka. Yeah, what does it matter? L-A-I-K-A.
Yeah, it's called Kubo. The movie is called Kubo.
Right. I had Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yes, Kubo and the Two Strings.
So what can you tease people about? Have you already done voicing? Have you already been doing it?
Yeah, yes, I have. I don't think I'm allowed to say anything about what it is, but it was so much fun. I love animated films. I see all of them, and their films are some of my favorite animated films. Like Coraline, I was just obsessed with, and the Box Trolls. Loved that. But I love animated films, and so it was so much fun doing that. Just being in the booth and getting to just be completely absurd and crazy and make all these different sounds with your voice. It was really fun. Yeah,
I'm very, you could say, excited. Definitely have to ask about working with Terrence Malick. I know, based on other actors I've talked to, that he'll sometimes just give you a line and say, this is your day. But I think the more crazy thing is that he will not really tell you where the camera's going to be. He could be following your feet for the whole day. What is it like working with him, and was that the process that you also worked with?
Yeah, that was really different than anything anyone has ever done. He works in a very special way, and I kind of don't want to give that much away about his process, because he because he likes to keep it protected, and I don't want to be the person that's like giving away his secret, so to speak.
Sure. But it's similar to
I
what
understand
said.
like wanting to keep things for yourself and keep your mystery. I'm not going to be the person to spoil it for him, but as far as the camera, you mean you just get used to it, and the camera is you know, usually on Steadicam, and you just go with it. But yeah, it was an incredible experience. I'll never have another experience like that for sure.